Hey guys, it's Luca here from Peak MSK Physiotherapy. Today we're going to be running through some exercises for the rotator cuff. So these are some great exercises to do during lockdown if you want to maintain or increase your rotator cuff strength. So what is the rotator cuff? So essentially the rotator cuff is a group of 4 muscles that surround the shoulder and are responsible for stabilising and positioning the arm in space. So why would you need to strengthen the rotator cuff? So a weak rotator cuff can put abnormal stresses on the surrounding tissues and cartilage, which will make the shoulder susceptible to injury. So strengthening the rotator cuff is great for existing shoulder injuries as well as preventing new shoulder injuries. So it's important that we do these exercises with caution. So these exercises are great and they're a great one-size-fits-all type of exercise, and they're based on the best current evidence. However, they might not be suitable for your exact injury. If your shoulder hurts or hurts more than usual during these exercises, it may benefit from a more tailored program within your abilities. So the things that you'll be needing for this exercise is you'll need a resistance band, so any kind of elastic band that will give you resistance. If you have these specific type of resistance bands, then that's great. And the other thing that you'll need is just a towel. A hand towel works great, and just rolled up. So let's get started on some exercises. So the first one we're going to be doing is called external rotation, which is the technical term for it. And you'll be getting your elastic band. Here's one I prepared earlier, and you'll be having it connected to something that is about elbow height. So this is looking good for me. And what you're going to be doing is getting your towel and popping it under your elbow. And then you'll be pulling outwards with that arm and back in, keeping tension on the band at all times. So we'll do 12 of those. 3. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. All right, and we'll have a rest there. So it's important that, as I mentioned, when you do these exercises, you have a towel under there. That's to avoid compression of the rotator cuff at the shoulder joint. It's also important that when you start the exercises, your shoulders are nice and set back. You're not having your shoulders hunched forward or anything. And the band is also a great reminder. The towel is also a great reminder that you're just rotating from the shoulder. It's not that kind of exercise, otherwise you'll drop the towel. It's just that pivoting from the shoulder. So we'll do another 2 sets of those. Good. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Good. And have a rest. So you'll notice that it is quite a small movement that I'm going through, and that's perfect for the rotator cuff. You can't get much more than that and still be targeting the rotator cuff. So don't be worried if you're finding that you're not getting a whole heap of movement out of this. So we'll do another 12 reps of that. And if you're finding it's starting to get a bit tricky, you can move closer towards where the band's attached, and that will help reduce the resistance. Or if you're finding it easy, you can move away from the band, and that'll add some more stretch to it. That distance was about right for me, so I'll stick there, and we'll do another 12 reps. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Good. So I was starting to fatigue at 12. which is good. That's what you want. You want it to be at that 12th rep. You're like, oh, I'm not sure I could squeeze out another. And I'm feeling it right on the back of my shoulder blade there, which is perfect. So the next one we're going to be doing is internal rotation. So the opposite of what we just did. Now we'll be going inside. So I'm going to switch over to my left arm for the sake of how easy it is. If you are targeting one specific arm, then you can just face the other way and pull in. But the same principle applies. You'll be having a towel tucked underneath your shoulder, underneath your elbow, sorry, and you'll be pulling in. So we'll do 12 of these. Five, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Good. Same principles apply. You want the band at about elbow height for you. You want to make sure your shoulder blades are nice and tucked back when you're doing the exercise so that you can engage all the right muscles. So we'll do another 12 of those. Two, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Good. You'll find these inwards internal rotation a bit easier than the external rotations because you've got a lot of big muscles to help you with this type of movement. It's also important that when you're doing the movement, on the way back, you don't let the band flick you back. You're keeping it controlled throughout the whole movement, and that's important for all band work. So we'll do another 12 reps of that. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Good. Have a rest. We're done with the towel, so we can pop that aside. And the next exercise that we're going to be doing involves a band that's been tied in a loop, like so. Alright, so what we're going to be doing with this is we are going to be pulling some tension on the band. We're going to make sure again our shoulders are nice and back, we're not slouched forward or anything. Pulling some tension on the band, starting at the bottom and going all the way up as high as you can go. And back down. So up as high as you can go and down. We do 12 of these, so it's 5, I think. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Good. So these exercises are good for getting those rotator cuff muscles activating throughout the whole range. So not just one specific point, they're having to work all the way from the bottom all the way up to the top. So we'll do another 12 of those. So with your band, pulling some tension on it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Alright, so we got one more set of those. If you do have any questions throughout any of this, just leave a comment and we'll be sure to get back to you. So, how are we all going? How are the muscles feeling? Any extra aches and pains, or is it just muscle fatigue? What are you feeling? You should only be feeling muscle fatigue or your usual level of pain in that shoulder. We don't want it to increase, and we don't want it to hang around for more than it usually does when you do exercise. So, we'll do another 12 of those. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 11, 12. Good. Alright, have a break, get some water if you need it before we go into the next set of exercises. So, the next thing we're going to be doing at your own pace is where we'll be putting our back against the wall. So this is good just for posture in general, but we'll be popping our back against the wall, arms out to the side so that our elbows and wrists are in contact with the wall. And then we're going to be going up and down, up and down, and being conscious of trying to keep your elbows and your wrists in contact with the walls at all time. So up and down, up and down, that kind of a movement. So we'll try and do another 8 of those, aiming for 12 in total. It's tricky. Good, we'll do one more. Good, and relax. So we'll aim for 3 sets of those. And again, it's similar principle as before with the band. This is getting those muscles to switch on and getting them to switch on throughout the whole range of movement as you move your arms up and down. Alright, so we'll do another one of those. So arms against the wall, back nice and straight, elbows and wrists in contact with the wall, and going up and down, up and down, 10, 11, 12. Good. Hopefully you are all wearing something a bit more appropriate than a shirt and pants, because this isn't working very well. So we'll do another 12 of them after we've had a bit of a rest. Take your time, do it at your own pace. If you feel like you need a bit more rest, then you can pause the video, come back to it. But I'm going to get stuck into the next set of 12, the last set of 12. So halfway. Good, all done with that one against the wall. You may notice that one arm is easier than the other arm. I personally noticed just then that keeping my left arm in contact with the wall was a bit trickier than keeping my right arm in contact with the wall. Alright, so moving on to our last two exercises. We are going to be coming back to this looped TheraBand. And what you're going to be doing is putting it around your wrists and going to a wall. Arms at 90 degrees, like so, against a wall. And what you'll be doing is keeping some tension on the band. You'll be going up, up, walking your arms up the wall, and up, up, if you can, and then down, down. Keeping tension on the band at all times, and just walking your hands up and down the wall. Good, so different angle of that. Not sure how well you can see it, but I'm putting myself to the side a bit. Otherwise you'd want it straight in front of you. Here we're going. And walking your hands up the wall and back down. Alright. So we'll do a bit more of that. You can pick a time that suits you. So you could go 30 seconds. If you're finding it starts to get difficult, then you can have a rest. It's starting to get difficult for me, so I'll do another 10 seconds. Alright. Whew, working up a sweat. Alright, so we'll do another set of those, and then we'll get into another exercise with the band. Just the same sort of movement, but in a different direction. So we'll be going side to side instead of up and down. Alright, so we'll do one more of the up and down. Keeping tension on the band at all times will really help to get those rotator cuff muscles activated. And we'll have a break there before we get started on the next exercise. Once you're done with your break, once you feel like your muscles are ready to go again for another round, getting the same band, same loop around your wrists. What we're going to be doing is, instead of going up, down, we're going to be walking our hands left and right. So up against the wall, you're going left, left, as far as you feel comfortable going, and then right, right. So it's kind of like a crab walk, but for your arms. You may find it more challenging to take bigger steps with your arms, or you may be more comfortable with small movements. Again, as always, making sure everything with the band is nice and controlled, and you're not letting the band flick that other arm in. That's nice and controlled. Again, do that one to time rather than number of repetitions. You could try and do 30 seconds or 45 seconds or a minute, whatever you find challenging, and a few sets of that. So we'll do one more set for me. Alright, so those are all the exercises for now, and hopefully you've all had a good workout of the rotator cuff. Hopefully nothing's been too provocative for you, but thanks for tuning in. These have been some great exercises for the rotator cuff strength as well as control. If you'd like to know more or think you need a more in-depth assessment or treatment of your rotator cuff, then feel free to send us a message, and be sure to stay tuned for next week's video on exercises for back pain. Thank you.